times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you never leave. Strap my lungs, then we puffin' through with that right. But giving them some stories, they come back like manic this, manic that, why you crawling to me? The hell we gonna...
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you'll see today, I'm going to be doing a video based on the LCI versus the pre-LCI BMW E60s. Now, standing here with me today is George, which is George Austers. You guys will probably be aware of him as he's on my feature channel page. You guys probably know I went live with him as well. If you've watched the live stream, you'll know he's part of my live stream. He is based in the UK as well, which is in Coventry, which isn't too far away from me. He does have the LCI model of the E60, and I get a lot of questions, always people asking me what the LCI has different. Also telling me that mine in the full M Sport because don't have soft closed doors, but what people seem to forget is the soft close only come available on the LCI. George's one is the fully loaded option, and yes, you guys probably ain't going to be aware, his is a 520D, but his has mostly more options than mine, excluding the heads-up display. But apart from that, he has nearly everything on that car that you could ever wish for. So we're going to go over the cars and I'm going to show you the differences from the pre-LCI to the LCI and what the difference are on the CIC compared to the CCC, and also all the different styling you get, like i.e. the headlights, rear lights, and obviously the seats. There's a lot of different features on the LCI compared to the pre-LCI. So let's go over the cars and I'm going to show you what the differences are between each, and we're going to start off with the LCI one, then make our way onto the pre-LCI. Okay guys, so as you'll see here, this is George's LCI BMW E60, and you already noticed that the headlights are different, which are right here. So his now has the projector lenses. They also have the xenons, which, as you guys see, the LCI model doesn't have. Some of them can come with it, but it wasn't something that come with it all the time, where the LCI did come with it from factory. So that's another difference. The other difference you'll probably see as well is this being a standard 520D, nothing. So basically a four-cylinder engine. It's the business edition. So it's the fully loaded edition, M Sport version of the 520D, which a lot of people in the US don't seem to believe me, but this is more fully loaded than probably half the cars. As you'll see here, it's got the Speedo alloys, which is another option on the M Sport. They stopped doing the MV2s after a certain year, which you'll see on my one over there, has the MV2s because it's pre-LCI, so it has the MV2s, but after that, they started using the Speedo alloys. Now, as you guys know, I've spoke to you previously regarding them. They like to crack inside, common problem. That's the only difference between them and the MV2s. The MV2s are 10 times better because they don't crack. These do crack, and when they crack, they're expensive to get re-welded, refurbed constantly to repair them. The next thing George's one has is power fold mirrors, which is another option on this car. This is the business edition, so it just comes with the full kit. As George knows, it was the wrong engine on this car because, like I say, the 2-litre diesel wasn't very reliable, but if looked after right, it will. But I would have rather have all this spec on a 530i, but that being said, it's okay for what it is. As you'll see, it's gunmetal grey as well, so it's a nice colour as well. I just want to take you around the back, and you'll see on the back, there isn't much difference to the LCI to the pre-LCI. Just the lights that are the difference. Apart from that, there isn't much differences. You'll probably notice as well on George's LCI one, it's got a sunroof. So that's a rare option as well, but this is what you get for being a business edition. This is the most fully loaded you can actually get in the country on the LCI models, is the business edition with gunmetal grey. You'll see mine's carbon black M Sport, but mine has the old CCC. So George, do you just want to show them the lights? So I just want to say one thing, guys. I get asked this a lot. People want to have the welcome lights on their E60s. Now, you can only get that on LCI models. As you know, look, if I press my one right now to lock it, and then I unlock it, for instance, you see right there, I don't get no lights light up. Now, that's because you need the LM2 module, and it has to have the bi-adaptive xenon headlights. Now, George, if you just want to go ahead and unlock it, you'll see right there, the welcome lights come on. So I don't know if you can see that clearly in the camera, but you'll see his welcome lights will come on the car.
And that's on the back as well.
Yep, so on the back as well, you'll see the back lights light up, which is a very nice feature to have. I think it's something that I'm wanting to do to my one. It ain't hard to do, you just got to change the light control module and get the lights. But as you see, all the lights light up everywhere. It's a very nice feature, especially when you come to the car, you feel welcomed. It's something that this car has got because it's LCI. The next thing you guys will notice is inside the car, that the seats, the headrests are completely different on the M Sports. These are M Sport seats, by the way. As you see, they're all electric and memory. You'll see here that the bolster likes to come out as well. You'll see here they do come out, as you'll see right there. So they are working, and it's the same for in here. The headrests are different. They're a lot more thicker. They've got buttons here, which are adjustable. Yeah, forward and back. So as you see there, they come forward and back. The gear is manual. This is a manual 6-speed manual gearbox. George doesn't do automatic, so that's another thing. It's a manual, it's not an auto. You'll also notice, I don't know if George wants to get in with the key, go into the driver's side. I'm going to get George to go into the driver's side. You'll also notice on his car that he's got heated steering wheel here, which is another rare option which many don't have. This has got the heated steering wheel. This also has the CIC right here as well. You'll see the CIC unit. He's got the widescreen CIC, so he's got the latest, so he doesn't have iDrive. This one has the TV tuner. We just done a coding video, making it work so you can drive and have it fully working, which it fully works now, don't it, George?
Yeah, the video
we've tested it. Video in motion, TV in motion, the lot. We've coded out his CD changer. We coded in his chirp, his digital speedo. As you'll see here as well, the speedo is very different compared to the pre-LCI. The speedo is completely different. I prefer it looks a lot nicer. The tacos on them. The climate control panel is completely different as well to what you see in my one. The heated seat buttons, all the switches are different. Like I say, he's got front heated seats. He also has rear heated seats, which will go in the back, and I'm just going to show you. He also has the rear heated seats in this one as well. So he's got the rear heated seats. Also, just to show you guys, he's also got the soft closed doors. Now, if you're going to see this quickly, I just want to make sure you guys can see this. If I just shut this door, you'll see there it shuts the door on its own, and I'll do it on this one as well, because the soft closed door feature, you'll see there, it pulls itself in. So his one's also got the soft close feature. George, if you just want to do the power fold mirrors, how they operate, so if George presses them, you see right there, they all go in as well, and they come back out, they retract back out. Now, this is the LCI business edition. Now, this is not to say everyone's going to get this. This only happens if you get the business edition. This is an M Sport as well. This is not your fake M5 replica. This is just what we get here in the UK. This is basically the most lowest engine size you can get in the UK, but yet it's still more fully loaded than a 530i. And this is why, because like I say, here in the UK, a lot of people prefer to have a diesel. So when these cars come out, it was all a diesel craze, because we had the Prime Minister involved who went diesel and thought diesel was more friendly. So this is when BMW started producing more diesels than they were petrols. And the 520D was a very popular choice and by demand on a lot of models. So they made this model exclusive. The 530i never got a business edition, which was a shame. But the 520D did, and you can get them a lot more. You can get them more in 520D than you can any other model on business edition. This is why it's a very good choice, a very good car as well, but it's just the engine underneath doesn't make it as reliable. It's a diesel engine, it's an M47, which has timing chain failure. But apart from that, this car is very nice inside. It's very good, it's very different. And now I'm going to move over to my one. So as you see, guys, mine doesn't have the power fold mirrors. Mine has the MV2s. Mine doesn't have also the bi-adaptive headlights. Mine doesn't have black grills either, as you guys know. But apart from that, body wise, there isn't a lot of difference apart from the wheels. Sideways, if you look at them, there's no difference. There's no difference sideways to both of them apart from the headlights. But if you keep going along, you'll notice the only difference between mine and Jules at the rear is the spoiler that I've got on here and the exhaust. Everything's mostly the same on these cars. But then if we go to the interior side, for instance, mine doesn't have, as you will see here, heated steering wheel. Mine doesn't have, well, mine has the heated seats. Mine doesn't have the new climate control panel. Mine has the very luxury one. And also, mine runs off of iDrive, which is the old CCC system. Mine isn't running on the CIC. It's something we were looking to upgrade. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do that yet. I'm thinking to, then I'm not thinking to, because E60s, it wasn't a thing that was fitted. Even if you have to flash them on the LCI model, which is here, you need to use the E90 files because it wasn't an option for it on E60. Yes, I know people say, oh, it's fitted to an E60 though. From factory, that's correct. But it was using Vista P, but obviously nobody wants to use Vista P because obviously George has had this remap. So for instance, if we were to program it, we have to avoid at all costs using Vista P because it will remove the remap. So we don't want to do that. So we would have to use WinKFP, and WinKFP is only E90 files to get to the ComBox. So back to mine anyway, as you'll probably notice, mine and George's look mostly the same, apart from the fact that I've got CCC. The light switches are all different as well. The difference on them is, you know, the trim as well. George has the wood trim, it's got a nice trim. As you see, the buttons come round here, which mine are down here. The shifter, if it was automatic, would have the Cobra shifter, as I like to call it, which would be a 6-speed transmission on the 520D, and it would be reliable ZF gearbox. Voice command settings and the scroll wheel is very plain compared to what is on a CIC. You also notice though that I've got heads-up display on this one, which is something that, you know, you can't have on the LCI models because it was never available. So you'll see here I've got a heads-up display on mine. So you can see that right there, which George, that's the only thing George doesn't have. But you'll see I don't have sunroof. I don't have any of that. Like I say, it makes mine look very basic compared to George's, but then you got to think, in all fairness, I've got the more reliable engine, so it all goes by that. But there is a lot of different factors on it. Boot space on them has never been a problem. The boot space, I believe, is, we've both still got it the same. It's no difference. You'll see in here my boot space is still the same, and it's still the same on George's one as well. You know, it's just actually the same in a lot of ways, apart from they facelifted it and changed the headlights. Mine, like I said, doesn't have power fold mirrors. Mine does have the wind deflectors. You know, there is a lot of variables to it, but it's just down to what one you prefer. Like I say, this you can only get in the business edition. Is it worth having a 520D? For me, not really. I mean, you can get them. It's very rare you can get them without being a business edition this fully loaded. If you was to, then you'll be very lucky. Apart from that, like I say, this car is a nice car. Like I say, it's in gunmetal grey, which two colours are my favourite, are black and the gunmetal grey. If I was ever to get another E60 or another car, usually I like gunmetal grey. Gunmetal grey is a very, very popular colour, and it's popular among choice here in the UK. I personally prefer gunmetal grey than black. As you'll see, mine's got a few stone chips, and probably George's has as well. This is just normal from having motorway driving. Yeah. But like I say, guys, apart from that, inside features more or less different compared to mostly the body. It's not really the body that's the different. I think it's just wheels and the lights on the body. But obviously you get the welcome lights, as I said, which is something you don't get on the pre-LCI, which is a shame. Also the wheels, that's the only thing that makes this different, and the lights, that's it. But if you was to buy the lights, you can change the pre-LCI to the LCI model, but the money you're going to go through, you could just go and buy yourself an LCI model, to be fair, if I'm honest with you. But apart from that, you see they're both M Sports, both bumpers are the same. There's no different. They didn't change the bumper, they didn't change the parking sensor locations. Everything's just the same on them. The wheels are the only difference. If I wanted to, I could buy the wheels, it wouldn't make no difference, but I prefer the MV2s because they're not less prone, they don't crack and don't have much problems like the Spider alloys do. Like I say, there is a lot of variables to it. Like I said, the fact that he's got heated seats in the rear is a plus. The other plus is the soft closed doors. That's a must, you know. Like I say, something I like, but you know, you don't usually forget to shut a door, and even if you do, you would notice straight away. But it's a good feature to have. I think the power fold mirrors is a must have, especially if you live in a city, because being able to retract the mirrors, because the mirror casings ain't cheap on these, so being able to retract the mirrors is a plus. Like I say, the only thing downfall is it is manual, but manual, I don't mind manual, but my preferabilities are auto when you buy a BMW, because the fact is you're buying a luxury car, you want to drive in comfort and not have to change your gear. But on the same sense, if you got more reliability because you don't have to worry about gearbox failure. But guys, like I say, you've seen all the differences now. All down here is the dash difference, the CIC. You guys would have seen probably a few of these, like I say, but I just wanted to do this video really to show you on the M Sports. You also notice as well the window switches are completely different to what they are on the pre-LCI. You see they're up here on the handles, now they're down here. And the same on the driver's side panel. You'll see down there, they sit down the bottom there, which I believe is much better than having them up here, which is like on my one, which will be right at the top. I believe they're better in the armrest here. So BMW changed that and made it a lot better than what they've done prior to that. But apart from that, guys, there's not really much differences on the LCI. Like I said, I'm not going to go over the engine variables because there could be a lot of differences in the engine itself. So like I say, mine's M52, George's is N47. You can get them in M57, you can get them in the M52, M53. So we would be all day talking about the engine, so it just doesn't make sense. You can also get them in the US in the M54, on the E60 as well with the 535xi. So it just doesn't make sense to go over the valuables of what's on the engine. You've seen the interior, you've seen the spec. Really, I've done this video because I know a lot of you guys are asking me. I got on my previous video that with my M Sport versus SE, that these guys got, their cars have got soft closed doors, and I tried and explained to people it's only available on the LCI, never come out on the pre-LCI. Pre-LCI cars didn't have them. It's an LCI option only. If mine was probably LCI, it would have had it because mine was fully spec'd out, but this was the last year. But like I say, before they went into 07 for the facelift, 07 they went in for the facelift. I got mine just before, but mine is reliable and I can't blame it, and I'm very happy with the one I got already. George has been out of it and out in the car as well, and he knows the difference between them both. Like I say, mine is a complete animal, and I'm very proud of this car. I hardly use it now, you know, because I'm busy with the Mini. But these are the differences based on the LCI and the pre-LCI. There's not much differences, like I say, apart from the lights and a few niggly bits, but body shape is completely the same. And like I say, they're good, two good cars. You can't fault them. Okay guys, so as you've just seen now, I've just shown you the difference on the pre-LCI versus the LCI. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go out in a short little test drive in George's 520D, so I can let you guys see in the US and everywhere else how these cars actually drive. So if you haven't ever seen how 520D drives and shifts, you'll get to see. You also get to see how it changes in a manual, because I know it's something that's rare. It's mostly auto, mostly people see. So we're going to go out, and like I say guys, George is going to probably be leading the video. I'm going to let him lead the video as well. Obviously it's going to be on my channel, you guys will see it, but George is going to lead the video on the car, and he will let you know what he thinks of the 520D and why he prefers the 520D over a petrol to diesel. So okay guys, as you'll see, we're now in the car. I'm in the car with George. We're in George's Lci E60, which is the 520D. We're going to be taking this car out, so you guys know, do not worry, the hazards ain't flashing, it's just the camera, the frames catching on to the hazards, it's not actually flashing. So we're going to be taking it out. George is now going to probably speak to you. He's going to show you how the power comes up, and he's going to also show you and tell you why he picked the 520D over 530i, and why he likes the 520D, and why he went for this model, because obviously everyone to their own. Everyone, when with BMW, it's all about preference, and that's what it is. That's why these engines are picked, and this is why the different spec is always picked. With BMW, you go into a dealer and you pick what you want. Whoever owned this car, this is why George went for this specific model. This is the second one he's had, so I'm sure he can relate to you why he picked this car and why he wanted a 520D.
Yeah. Okay then guys, so you're probably wondering, like, why the hell would you pick a diesel, you know, if you're a car guy? And a car guy I am, you know, I like my cars. You know, obviously I do YouTube, I make a lot of videos, you know, car related videos and whatever else. And the reason that I think anybody decides to buy a diesel is the cost of running it. So we all know, you know, diesels are very fuel efficient. You know, in this 520D I get 50 to 60 miles per gallon. And you know, you're not going to be getting that if you got a 3 litre.
Which, let me just state guys, let me just put on his trip meter so you can see what he's doing. At the moment he's getting 36 miles per gallon, which is right down there. That's showing 36 miles per gallon, but you've got to bear in mind he's not on the highway. Yeah. So, but it is
that's literally just, you know, stopping and starting the engine and doing whatever else. But yeah, if I drive on a run, you know, I can get upwards of 60 miles per gallon in this car. And I do a lot of miles per year, so I need a fuel efficient engine. So that's why, you know, I wouldn't be able to afford the fuel to run a 3 litre petrol engine. Now that being said, being a 2 litre diesel does not mean that it's boring to drive. You know, it is actually pretty exciting. I've done quite a bit of work to it. It has had a remap, and it is
yeah, because let me just state there, a lot of guys get this confused with diesel. They think because it's diesel it's stinky, it's slow, it's for pulling, but because it's pulling it gives me a lot of torque. That's what people have to be aware of.
That's it.
It produces a lot of torque. So low down, like for instance now we say the speed we're already doing now, we're doing 60. With the turbo, that picks up very quick. Now George has been in my car yesterday, and like I say, he can tell the difference between the both. Now George, what would you say for the petrol against the diesel? What do you think the differences are in both of them?
So with a diesel, you're gonna get most of the power, the torque, and everything, you know, just low down, and you're gonna get punch with it because obviously it's a turbo. But with a petrol, the power is a lot more linear, you know, so your power, you know, starts at a certain RPM, then it just climbs and climbs and climbs until redline. Now with a turbo diesel, typically you have a good punch of torque low down, then you have, you know, a little bit of power increase, and it kind of flattens out because diesels, they don't have throttle bodies, so they don't work like petrols do. So petrol, obviously you step on the throttle body opens. Diesels, how it works is you push down on the accelerator and it just injects more fuel in. But if there's not enough air to add to that extra fuel, then you're not going to gain any more power. So typically with a diesel, you get most of your power low down, and it's actually pretty addicting because, you know, you don't even have to rev it high to get any kind of power from it, which is really, really good. So
guys, what we're going to do now is George is going to show you how quick this goes from 0 to 60 in seconds, because a lot of guys think diesel's slow, and a lot of people will think, oh, the 2 litre diesel's still crap, but no. I'm going to show you now, for these kind of roads, diesel is very quick. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn the camera and George is just going to stop. If George stops and goes from 0 up. Now bear in mind guys, we're going to be going up a hill here.
Uphill.
So yeah, we're going to be going uphill, as you'll see there, uphill. So George is going to do it from 0 to 60 on the uphill, so you guys can see. So he's just getting it ready, and when you're ready, George, just show them what you can do. Just show them. Now as you see there, you'll see right there, that's the diesel punch, and this is going uphill, so just remember that guys. It comes up very quick, the speed. For a 2 litre diesel, it's not slow at all.
And that was a steep hill.
Yeah.
That was a steep hill.
Yeah, it was a steep hill. That was a steep hill as well.
Yeah.
And secondly, that this car can pull through the rev range. So there you go. It's got 5,000 RPM, but you've got to remember the turbo's cutting in at that full 5,000 RPM. It's not letting it drop. So the turbo's constantly spooling up, which is what you need. And you got to remember, being this to the LCI, it's got a lot more horsepower than the previous pre-LCI ones. They're a lot more better and robust than the pre-LCI ones. That's when BMW was plagued in issues with these engines, but this one seems, from even my personal experience, a lot better. This engine feels a lot stronger. It feels well looked after and well maintained, I must say. I'm not a lover of the 2 litre diesel, but like I say, I've been in enough of them to know when they feel like crap. Some of them rough run, rough idle. That's due to neglect and maintenance. People not upkeeping with the maintenance of these cars. These cars require very high maintenance. Being a diesel, people think, oh, because 2 litre, it requires less maintenance. And this is a lot of people do this. They'll go and buy a 2 litre petrol, 2 litre diesel and think, oh, because 2 litre, it requires less maintenance, going to be cheaper. No, it's still going to be the same. It's a BMW. You're paying for the name, and the name is not cheap. I tell you guys all the time, you can't use cheap parts on this, and George is the same as me. George, do you use cheap parts on your car?
Absolutely not.
Do you use Chinese parts on your car?
Absolutely not.
Do you buy used parts?
No.
No, you do, but it depends on what you buy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a used axle. You wouldn't buy a used brake disc. You wouldn't buy, you wouldn't buy nothing used. That's the thing. Now, this is what I tell you guys, is a lot of people like me out there, and a lot of guys think it's just me. But no, you cannot do that. That's when your car will go to pot using cheap parts. You guys are not seeing the trouble I'm going through the Mini because people have neglected it and not even worried. And that's a Mini. A Mini. It's not even a BMW. You know, I would expect that for BMW, as I told you guys, but not for Mini. It's very cheap to maintain. People still neglect it. They still do the same with E46. Another cheap car to maintain and neglect it. But you know, when you got the right common sense of how to look after these cars will reward you back well. Right? And you look after the car will look after you. That's what I've always said. And it's a true saying. And I always know it worked because the way I've looked after my cars have always been reliable. And like I say, this for a 2 litre diesel, most people probably watch this and say, oh, my 2 litre diesel don't run like that, but that's because of neglect and using cheap quality parts, not properly maintaining it. You have to maintain the car to make it fuel efficient, to make it run good. You know, George's one idles perfectly, it doesn't run rough, it's not no rough running. We scanned it with Ista. He didn't have any codes for rough running or glow plugs or this or that, which is usually the common cause on most diesel cars. He didn't have none. This being a business edition, I'm sure George is going to want to look after it. You know, he paid $5.5 grand for this car, didn't you, George?
Yep.
$5.5 grand for this car, and I think it's worth it all day, to be honest. What you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, as the saying goes. And George has got a lot of bang for his buck. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We're going to close this video out in a sec, so we'll be back in a second. Okay guys, so we just come back from the obviously little test drive that I thought I would show you on the video so you can see about the 520D, because I know a lot of you don't get that in still countries, so I just wanted to show you how they drive. You've just seen how they drive. Obviously this is George, it's his car. If you do want to see more of this car, which he is doing videos on the E60, just to let you guys know, so he's going to be doing a lot on this car to come up. He's doing a lot of repairs, he's going to be doing a lot of mods. One of his biggest videos is about his modifications on his last 520D. So if you do want to see more videos, you can go to George's channel and you can subscribe to him. It is in my featured channel. If you can't find it, his name is George Austers. You can just find it by that, and you can go to his channel and watch all his videos as well. This is his car. As I said guys, you've seen the differences now on the pre-LCI versus the LCI. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is BMW Dr. Dino and George Austers. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.